Hey Crestwood, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you guys are doing well today. Gosh, God has blessed us with a beautiful day and so many other blessings, and hope you're enjoying those today. Hope you are mindful also that God is with you as you go through this day. So even if you run into challenges or face unexpected things that you weren't ready to deal with, God's with you. God's got this. And so I give thanks for that. And give thanks I can bring you this devotional for this Wednesday, October 25th. So today I'm thinking about failure. I'm preparing a sermon on Sunday about imperfection. And this is one of the sore spots on my soul that I talk about when I talk about what it means to be imperfect, what it means to fail. No one likes to be thought of that way. No one likes to be vulnerable and show those parts of us that may be broken. I had something happen earlier this week where I'd committed to do something, and in the course of a busy day, I'd forgotten to do that. And what I really wrestle with when I do that is not necessarily that I have failed, but more that I've disappointed someone, that I've let them down. And even though the other person was incredibly gracious and it was no big deal, and they were more than happy to reschedule, I continue to beat myself up because I did something wrong. I did something that caused someone else an inconvenience. And don't we tend to do that? Don't we pile on ourselves 10 times more than the other person does? Don't we hold on to that sense of failure, that sense of disappointment, when the other person's like, it's no big deal? They extend grace to us far beyond what we're able to extend to ourselves. And so today might be a day for us to give ourselves a little bit of grace, to remind ourselves that, hey, we're not perfect. We're going to mess up. And when that happens, there is grace to be extended. And then a reminder to us also that the other person who's disappointed you, they're doing the best they can. Maybe they got overwhelmed. Maybe they let their emotions get the best of them. Maybe they didn't take your feelings into consideration and they did something to hurt you or to disappoint you. I choose to believe that everybody's just doing their best that they can. And we're going to be imperfect and we're going to slip up. And so I try to extend that grace to others, even when I'm not good about extending it to myself, right? I need to learn more about how I need to receive the grace that I am so willing to offer others. And I think that's an important reminder. And I can receive that grace because I know that grace doesn't just come from me. It doesn't just come from the other person, but it comes from God. God is faithful to us, no matter how imperfect we are, no matter how many times we slip up. God is faithful. God has always been faithful. God is faithful. God will always be faithful. Great is thy faithfulness, we sing. God's mercies are new every morning. And that's an important reminder to me that God's faithfulness is not going to waver, even when mine does. Because when I have those moments of challenge or those moments of disappointment, it's easy for me to doubt myself. It's easy for me to doubt my own worth, my own goodness. And sometimes those challenges cause me to doubt God's goodness. But God doesn't get mad at us and take God's ball and go home when we have those challenges. God is faithful to us always. There's nothing we can do to lose that faithfulness in us. If we are striving to be the best that we can, if we're striving to each day be faithful to God, God returns that faithfulness to us 10 times, a million times, more than we can even count. Because there's a limit to what we can do. There's a limit to how perfect we can be. There's a limit to the getting everything right. But it doesn't matter. God isn't counting our wrongs. God isn't keeping record of those. God is simply faithful to us, not in spite of our imperfections, but because of our imperfections. In the midst of those, God is still faithful. God continues to love us. God continues to offer us grace. God continues to forgive us. And so we can do our best to try to do that as well. So there are going to be times we fail. I love the quote from Winston Churchill that says, success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And so I think that's our goal. Our goal is not to be successful 100% of the time. Our goal is to not let our failures define us. Because we're not defined by those moments we disappoint someone. We're not defined by those moments we try and don't succeed. There are things we're going to do wrong, but what we do isn't necessarily a reflection of who we are, because who we are in God's eyes is of infinite value, much, much greater than any mistake that we might make. So, Crestwood, I want to encourage you to offer yourself some grace today. Yeah, you did something recently probably that disappointed someone, maybe even hurt them. It's okay. You're human. You're imperfect. It's going to happen. But remember that when that does happen, it never changes God's faithfulness in you. God loves you so much, and God is faithful to you always. God bless you, Crestwood.